All right, this video clip here is going to start us working on our road here to using some images, and we're going to just going to use them as background images on a form for right now. Real quickly, just a couple of quick maybe misconceptions or problems with this from things from last week, just briefly. When you bring in one of these menu strip items, so you bring in a menu strip, and it shows up down here. And I didn't do a good job explaining this last week. I would click on here and then change it to MNU and give it the name of the program right there. Now, then inside of here, that's where as you get to each of these, I've got MNU file, MNU English. So if I certainly didn't dock anybody if they didn't name this. I didn't mention that, and it might have been confusing to some folks. This should be just MNU, name of the program or form. This would be MNU for each of these then, okay? And it is important to name all this stuff before you start adding events to your code, because there were some people that in their program, if I click this little drop down here, I could see all the objects in there and that they were named correctly. But over in their code, I might have still seen, like tool strip menu item file or file tool strip menu click event, and that's just because they made the event and then they went in here and changed the name. The event will still work, but it does make for some confusing code if you're trying to fix stuff later on, because the names won't correlate with what you thought they did. Okay, so that's a couple little things right there to think about. Okay, and this is a handy thing right here too. If I want for selecting things on your form, I can just click on this drop down and I can select MNU French right from there instead of trying to. Sometimes these are hard to select by clicking on them over there. Okay, and another just misconception, common thing here real quickly is if I double click on something, like I just double clicked on the form, notice how a form load event went in here. It's because a load event is the default event for a form. And so when you double click on something, it does take you over here, create an event, and then you would put stuff in here. Some people were saying it automatically makes a click event. It does not. It makes the default event for that object you double clicked on. And I was noticing, like there was no reason to have a form load event in this program. So if you had one, it was because you accidentally double clicked on a form and you ended up with one, or you double clicked on a label. So do watch for that. If you double click on stuff, that stuff ends up in there. Okay, so let's get real quick here to using some graphics or images. All right, first off, just briefly, let's talk about this. If I want to get some images, certainly the web is internet's a good place to do that. Google image search is an okay place to do that for what we're doing here in class. Let's say I'm going to add some flags to the background images of this Hello World International program. So I go out here and I find a flag that looks good to me. I find it, and let's say, well, I don't exactly want one that's a GIF that's going to be moving or anything like that. So let's say I pick a different one. Doesn't matter here. I've already got some saved. So let's just say I pick this one. You might be looking at the size here, so it's not something too huge, not too small. What you should do is click on this full-size image, and then you'll just get it in a window like this. Then you can right-click on it and say Save Image As. It might look a little bit different depending on what web browser you're using, but you basically can save this image to your desktop or somewhere to use it. Okay. The other thing that you should note is kind of all our copyright rules. Okay. It's one thing here in class, it's a little bit different. We get some leeway, fair use leeway in class here to take some of these images, put it in a program because it's for our class, and we're not going to sell these programs and make money on it. But you better get in the idea or in the practice right now of giving credit to any images that you take and use. Okay. So the URL that I want to maybe give credit to this later would be this one right here on the full-size image. That's another reason I clicked into the full-size image right here, because I'm going to copy and paste this URL, and in my program somewhere I should put either a label that I fill in with some credits information or stuff like that. So keeping track of this is a crucial part of what you're doing. You need to give credit to where you're getting stuff. And if it's a program that you're ultimately at some point going to sell, then you're in a situation you got to create your own graphics or pay somebody for graphics, because it's not just okay to take them from the web and put them in a program and then make money on selling that stuff. Okay, and here again, you want this URL from the full-size image, because if I go back here, look at how long that's not the URL I want. I don't want the URLs from my search pages. Those aren't the URL to credit stuff. Okay? So I went out there and I got an image. And I actually have a few of them already saved to my desktop of these flag files. Now what you should do here is if you go over to the Solution Explorer window right here and you double click on My Project, this whole new window is going to pop up here, and it'll probably be on the application area at first. What you need to do is go to Resources. We're going to add some resources to this project. Okay, so the resource we want to add is an image. Okay, so we're changing that to image. And what we want to do is add an existing file. So I've saved these to my desktop. I actually have a France flag I'm going to bring in. Go up here again, and I'm going to add, I've got a few of these. Let's get Spain's flag. And same thing here. I'm going to the little drop down right there, add existing file. And I got one for US flag. Okay. So we've got these three flags in here in the resources folder. Notice it just like opened another window on here. Okay. So I'm just jumping back over to here. All right, and what I would like to happen is, so this thing opens with English checked and hello world there in English, so that's fine. What I'm going to do here on this form is in the background image, notice here the property for background image says none here right now. And I'm going to click on that and three little dots show up. And right away, since I've imported these, I can pick the US one and say OK. And there you go. I've got this US flag as the background image right here. Now you'll notice these labels and this group box that I have in here, they have their own background to them. And so if that, we might be doing some more advanced stuff with those, like we could pick those. Let's do that from over here even. I'm going to go to label greeting. Okay, so that's where that is right there. And if we go to the background color of that, you'll see it's a control color, which means it's going to look like any other control on a window in the Windows operating system. I can go in here and you actually, if you pick the web tab here, you can change this to transparent. Notice if you do that, you're probably going to want to go in there and also change the font property, change it to be white or something like that so you can see it, because this wouldn't be a good choice either. I really can't see that. Okay. For right now, we're not going to get that picky about it. I don't really care if that's a control color and it doesn't look perfect there. You can play around with that some if you want. What I want to get into here is, so now I've got background images and I want them to change as people change the what they clicked on here. So I'm going to view my code window as well. Let's get the toolbox out of here so there's a little more scene. So I had all these radio buttons and menu items that will change the greeting text here. I can have more than one assignment statement in here in each of these events. So in the English one, now let's go to the Spanish one first. So I'm just going to click in here, type and enter. I'm going to say me dot and what I want here, so that is referring to this form, Hello World International. I have to say anything else. So that was another thing from this week. Me is referring to this. So me, background image. See how I'm just picking that property? I didn't have to say an object for this one because me is picking that object. And I'm going to say equals, and I got to go my to get to my resources folder, and then clicking other dots, see I have a choice of the images that were in the resource folder. Okay, so and what am I at here? I'm doing Spanish, so I'm going to grab the Spanish flag there and pick that, and there we go. I have in this one-click event, when they click Spanish, it's going to change the text to Spanish, and it's going to change the background image from the US flag to the Spain one. Let's look at that real quick. Okay, so here's my program, English, I got the US flag, click the Spanish, it switches to that. One thing you'll notice though, click back to English, didn't go back. I'll show you how to do that and fix that in the next video.